We have some breaking news that is coming in. The United States has issued a temporary 30-day waiver to allow Indian refiners to purchase Russian oil. Now, the waiver will allow India to buy oil from Russian oil cargoes currently stranded at sea. Washington approved a 30-day waiver to allow the shipments to proceed despite restrictions tied to sanctions on Russia's energy sector. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirmed the measure, saying it is intended to keep oil flowing into global markets. He underlined that this deliberately short-term measure will not provide significant financial benefit to the Russian government, as it only authorizes transactions involving oil already stranded at sea. Bessent also described India as an essential partner and added that Washington expects India to increase purchases of American crude in the future. Well, this is the breaking news that we are getting in at this hour. The United States have issued a temporary 30-day waiver to allow Indian refiners to purchase Russian oil. The waiver will allow India to buy oil from Russian oil cargoes currently stranded at sea. Well, Washington has approved a 30-day waiver, and the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has confirmed the same measure, saying it intended to keep oil flowing into the global markets. Well, this is the reason why they have approved the waiver. And he underlined that the deliberately short-term measure will not provide significant financial benefit to the Russian government, as it only authorizes transactions involving oil already stranded at sea. Well, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Terani has sent us this report from New York. Listen in.
President Trump says U.S. oil and gas production has reached the highest level ever recorded as part of his administration's energy agenda. At the same time, Treasury Department is issuing a temporary 30-day waiver allowing Indian refineries to purchase Russian oil that is already stranded at sea. Officials say that this short-term measure is meant to keep global oil supplies flowing and avoid sudden disruptions in the market. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stressed the waiver will not provide meaningful financial help to Moscow because it only applies to cargoes already in transit. Washington says India remains a key strategic partner and expects New Delhi to increase purchase of U.S. energy in the longer term, while the administration accuses Iran of trying to pressure global markets amid the ongoing conflict. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
Well, our Assistant Editor Foreign Affairs, Siddharth Sibil, is now joining us. Siddharth, what more details can you share with us about this 30-day waiver from the United States allowing Indian refiners to purchase stranded Russian oil, and what impact could it have on energy supplies and global oil markets?
Well, first, prima facie, it looks like a case of flip-flop. Just months after Donald Trump had imposed tariffs on India for importing Russian energy, now Donald Trump officials are essentially saying that India can buy Russian oil. This is, of course, contingent to a 30-day waiver, and also that India can buy Russian oil at sea. Now, we know that this is a very positive news for India, coming at a time when supplies from the West Asian region are, of course, getting choked with the Strait of Hormuz getting blocked. Of course, Strait of Hormuz contributes to only 30 to 40% of India's energy needs. The rest 60%, 50 to 60% are from non-Hormuz Straits energy, and from that, Russia plays an important role. So, clearly, important development for India, sigh of relief for many Indians or the Indian government, because of the fact that there were anxieties that with the Strait of Hormuz closed, the energy prices can go up. But clearly, India possibly could now import also from Venezuela. So while the West Asia war continues, it looks like a long haul. India has a sigh of relief that the energy prices will be still stable, given the fact that how India needs a lot of energy. Also, another aspect to it is the geopolitical developments. India's engagement with Russia have been long-standing. In fact, yesterday the Russian ambassador told reporters that Russia is always willing to continue its energy imports to the Indian side, which of course was another positive comment coming from the Russian side. And we also know that the focus from the Indian side is always to make sure that not only it has a buffer stock, but also that stock is replenished.
Right, Siddharth, thank you so much for getting us all these updates, and we'll, of course, be tracking all of this. Thank you.